I have a confession to make. I've found my newest obsession. And it's good. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another G-Mineo video. I am your host, Seth, and in today's video, we're actually going to be talking about one of the newest battle royales that's out there, Naraka Bladepoint, and more specifically, why you should be playing it, like today. Today's video is actually going to be kind of like a blend between sort of review as well as beginner walkthrough, sort of everything you really need to know about this battle royale and everything that I personally absolutely love about it. Naraka Bladepoint, as I said, is a new battle royale available on Steam for like $20 that has you playing as one of 5 champions who has been left on Morris Isle in an effort to vanquish your enemies and become the sole owner of the Mask of Immortality. This game makes use of some amazing combat mechanics, including melee and ranged weapons, couples that with an incredible movement system that just screams like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all those amazing Matrix martial arts type movies, and then jams that together with this beautiful aesthetic and just theme to provide a winning combination that I personally have not been able to get enough of over my last 2 days playing the game. This game is unique and exceedingly beautiful and so much fun, and definitely one that I'm going to be playing a lot more of in the future. I've already reached out to some of my friends and tried to get some time scheduled, because you know how it is life, but tried to get some time scheduled, some time set aside so that we can all play this game together, because I'm having so much fun. So in this video, like I said, I'm gonna go over kind of some of the basics, like what the game really is, sort of what it consists of, some of the basic combat mechanics, some of my predictions as far as like the meta goes, as well as, again, kind of my overall impressions and thoughts on the game. Now this game, I wanna say off the bat, is by no means perfect. I mean, no game really is. But this is a game that, to me, speaks a lot to sort of the fantasy fulfillment that I want from a game, and is a very, very fun new take on the battle royale. So first and foremost, let's start with kind of the basics. And first up in that is character creation. I want to say right off the bat, the character creation and customization process in this game is awesome. It is incredible. I mean, you can make literally anything you want, just about. It has, like, you can control every little nuance and part of the different face. You can control everything from skin tone to the way your eyes look to all kinds of different character customization options to really create a look that you love. There are already so many options, and the game is so new. I can only imagine that more are going to be coming from the developers in later stages of the game. You're limited right now to selecting only one of 5 champions, all of which are really cool and feel very unique and different in their own way. They have unique talents and abilities and ultimates that, again, sort of play into their strengths and make them interesting and dynamic in a way that very clearly differentiates them from one another. Some of these champions, it feels like, are definitely more powerful in a 1v1 scenario, whereas others look like they might be better off in sort of the trio situation, where you can get some real cool synergy between the abilities of these characters and create a really effective and powerful team. My personal predictions for sort of the meta, especially when it comes to the solo matches, are that Tianhai and Ime are going to be sort of the premier or most choosed champions when it comes to, you know, people and which one they select. Tianhai has great offense, some awesome defensive capabilities, and can turn into a freaking titan. His best ability, I think, personally, is his defensive bell ability. Honestly, though, I'm not a big fan of his ult, which is where you sort of turn into this big, like, 5-armed titan. It's really cool, but for me, it was kind of clunky and hard to control. I don't know if I'm just bad, which is definitely a possibility, because I've been playing this game for the last 2 days on keyboard and mouse, which I am not accustomed to. I'm a console gamer. I have been my whole life. So I've been playing it on PC, and that's taken some getting used to in and of itself. But to me, the Titan ability of Tianhai was not the greatest and not my personal favorite. Hime was the other character that I played a lot of, and she has some amazing offense, and her ult is dope. She summons like a 19-foot long spectral sword that just annihilates people, and it was really, really cool. She's also got these like spinning psychic blade things. She is the newest champion from what I understand, and has the most limitations when it comes to skins and customization, but she's really cool. I really like her, and I really like her ult. So those are kind of my predictions as to which of the 2 champions are going to sort of emerge as the meta, especially in the solo matches. In the trios, you know, it's anyone's ball game, but in the solos in particular, because they have such great offense and defensive capabilities. After you're done customizing customizing your character and picking your champion and their clothes and their skins and all those things, you go into determining which game mode you want to go into. First and foremost is the training. The game sort of brings you in, familiarizes you with the controls, and you know, that mission is fine, it's good, it teaches you the basics and what you need to know, but obviously you're gonna get way more out of playing the game itself and going into the more advanced tutorials. But there's like the basic tutorial, the controls tutorial, and I think the advanced tutorial, each of which kind of teach you some of the more specifics and advanced techniques of the game. But after training, you get to decide which type of game you want to play in. And basically there's two kinds. There's ranked play and then unranked play. In both options, you have the availability of playing trios or as a solo, and there's, again, two different kinds, ranked play and unranked play. Now in ranked play, the biggest one is the Herald's Trial, and that within it has sort of one main game mode with then two, I guess, spins or flavors on it. Herald's Trial has you playing, again, it's ranked. They have rankings all the way from bronze, I think, up to like Empyrean or something like that. It's like, there's like 4 or I think 5 different levels. I managed to make it to bronze 4 in my time. I probably have played for, I don't know, somewhere around 20 hours at this point, I think. Was able to make it to bronze 4, and the competition gets it gets much, much better as you rank up through the tiers. But in the Herald's Trial, you're dropped in to Mortis Isle and you just fight until whoever's the last man standing. But there are 2 fun variants that kind of make things a little bit interesting. The first being Daruma Prayer. So in this one, actually, like in the load-in lobby, there's like 6 little dolls, Darumas, that are spread out throughout the sort of load-in map, which is a piece of the map that is way, way off to the southwest. But if all of the players that are in there, which is pretty much bound to happen, you collect all of them, and then this massive doll thing appears out of the ocean, and it gives you more and better rewards based on your ranking during the match, which is super cool. The other one that's much more interesting is Slay Moonbane. So during this game mode, like a giant dragon appears sort of over the map, and this is supposed to be the god Yin, or otherwise known as Moonbane. And if you win while that dragon is sort of active, or while this game mode is active, you, and either by yourself or with your squad, have the opportunity after you win the match to battle the god, and if you win and defeat them, you get like special perks, and eventually you can get, like, if you do it a certain number of times, you can get like unique items and skins and rewards that'll go on your character. And this kind of reminds me of something that I was talking about in my recent New World video, which was like New World lacked, it felt like to me, that sort of like S tier or that like little extra mythic level of gameplay, and this is to me kind of good game design. It sort of speaks to the pinnacle of gaming, and like if you're able to win multiple times in your matches, you get the opportunity to have like special skins, special rewards, special items, and that is like the thing that a lot of gamers sort of pursue and gives them this drive to continue to play and grind a little bit. So I think this is a really good game design feature for me personally. Also, it's fucking cool. There's a giant dragon. It's awesome. The 2 forms of unranked play are just simply quick match. It's basically the same as Herald's Trial, except it doesn't affect your score. And then last is the Bloodbath. And this one is just kind of like a kill match. Like you're just hopping in, you continue to resurrect no matter what, and you just continue to kill players and rack up as many kills as you possibly can. It's basically team deathmatch or solo deathmatch, depending. But one of the things that I noticed, the quick match, which is basically like the Herald's Trial, just unranked, seemed to have the same XP and rewards benefits that the Herald's Trial or ranked matches did. But the Bloodbath, I don't know if it was just me or if I'm crazy, but it seemed like you didn't gain as much experience points from that game mode. That one's just more for fun. If you're hanging out with friends and you just want to kill some stuff, and you continue to respawn. In solos, once you die, you die. No respawn, no second chances, that's it. Which I'm not a huge fan of. I wish there was at least one respawn, you know, or you went to something like the Gulag from Warzone. I think that's a really good game design element and gives players an opportunity to, you know, have a second chance to come back into the map. I would really like that, and I think that would be a good thing for them to add in the future. But that being said, it's pretty easy to just back out, hop into a match, and, you know, get going. But those are sort of the basic game modes, and brings us on to sort of the nitty-gritty of the game itself. First up, the thing that I want to talk about is the visual, the purely aesthetic, which is graphics in the game. And let me tell you, these are fucking beautiful. The graphics in this game to me are absolutely stunning. The world building, the designers really made this beautiful, beautiful world. I mean, I spent so much time just running around and sort of marveling at the architecture and the textures and the colors and all the vibrancy that the world sort of brings to the table. And again, maybe I'm just a sucker for this type of aesthetic, but I loved it. It's very anime, very sort of, you know, Eastern inspired, obviously, and it's just beautiful. I love, love, love this aesthetic, and it was so unique and so just great for me to sort of look at these places you can climb, and that's another really part that we'll get into later, but all of the environment is interactive, which is really, really fun. And this just, to me, has a very unique aesthetic from any other Battle Royale game out there. You know, you got Call of Duty Warzone and Apex Legends, which are two of the most popular Battle Royales right now, obviously Fortnite, but this just, Fortnite, where Fortnite's kind of cartoony, and then obviously Apex Legends is super future, and then Warzone is today, this is just like a trip to the Far East, and it's, I don't know, it's beautiful, and it's very unique to me in its aesthetic and its design. After graphics, let's talk about like overall mechanics and sort of how the game works. First thing that I want to talk about is weapons. There's a lot of different weapons in the game. They're either basically sorted into two categories, either melee or ranged. Ranged weapons include like a musket, which is really cool, a repeating crossbow, longbow, a cannon, this weird fire thing, and a few other sort of melee or rather ranged weapons. But in my sort of experience, and which granted is limited, the ranged meta is definitely beat out by the melee, especially because of the movement that we're going to talk about later. But because of the movement in this game, it's so easy to close the distance between you and someone who's trying to shoot you, and the ranged weapons don't seem to do nearly as much damage as getting in close and being able to use your ult. So I didn't use a lot of ranged while I was playing this game. That being said, it's a lot of fun, so take that with, you know, how you will. Next is the melee weapons. Now, the melee weapons include the spear, the greatsword, the longsword, the katana. My personal favorites that I saw, or that I were able to use, was the spear and the katana. All of the weapons, melee and range, sort of follow different tier lists. There's gray, which is just normal, then there's blue, then there's purple, and there's gold, I think. I never found a gold one. I only ever found purple weapons while I was playing the game, which are epic, but they're really cool. As you sort of get, as the shroud sort of, you know, which is the equivalent of like the storm or the gas in Warzone, as the Battle Royale sort of constrains you into an area and you have to avoid that shadow stuff, whatever the fuck it's called. You run into more people, and they generally tend to have more and better items, so you're able to swap things out as you go. As far as items in the game go, the loot system itself is pretty cool. Again, I was getting used to keyboard and mouse, so it was kind of tricky for me to like do things. I kind of had to take it slow, especially at first, but the loot system is pretty cool. You have like these weird little pods. Blue ones are normal, orange ones are epic, and then greens are for soul jades, which we'll get into in a minute. But you're basically able to pick up different items. Now, as you use your weapons, they deteriorate, which is kind of a cool mechanic, and so you have to use weapon chests to repair your weapons as you go, which again turns it into a bit of a resource management game, and you have to be cognizant of how your weapons are doing in terms of their durability. Similarly, obviously you have different tiers of armor, just like you do with weapons. You got gray, blue, and purple, and then I think gold. But as you're attacked by an enemy, they have to get through your armor before they get to your actual health, and then you can repair your armor after a fight using armor powder, which you can pick up in a lot of different places. Similar to the weapons, the items themselves also have two different tiers, gray and blue, or 1 and 2, and the higher level the armor, the more or better armor repair and weapon repair stuff you need to fix it. So again, it becomes a game about like kind of resource management and making sure you have all the right stuff. And you can just take dead stuff off of dead people's bodies, which is cool. Also, one of the most important things that you're going to need in the game is grappling, or are grappling spools. Now, the grappling spools are what allow you to use your grappling hook. Each time you use it, you deplete your total number by 1. They usually come in like boxes, I don't know, of 6, anywhere from 4 to 6, and you can pick those up and then use them. I really never ran out of them. I just made sure to have a lot on me because I love using the grappling hook, which again, we'll get into in a minute, but make sure you always have some of those on you, because that, as we're going to get into in the combat, is really, really important. The last thing in terms of items that you'll run into commonly are soul jades. Now, the soul jades are basically like attachments that you can pick up, a certain number of them, and they give you different passive or active attributes. You have like a health one that gives you more health. You have a melee resistance that gives you, melee or range resistance, which are sort of self-explanatory. And then you also have some attribute ones, like ones that improve your ability to wall run and do various different things like climb. And there's ones that are specific to different kinds of weapons. So you can find like a longsword one that makes your longsword attack stronger, etc., etc. So there's lots of different kinds. I didn't even see all of the ones that I think were available during my time playing the game. And again, those are also, green, blue, purple. They get better as you get, more better chests and get deeper and deeper into the game. The last and final thing that I kind of forgot about is you have a limited amount of space in your bag and in your soul jade bag. So you have a weapon bag, an item bag, and a soul jade bag, and you're able to find extensions for those things so that you can carry more items. Those are really, really good to find because, again, the more you have, the more soul jade you have, the better sort of passive attributes you have, the more weapons you have, the more opportunities you have to switch between, you know, etc., etc. But that's kind of it as far as items go, and brings us into movement and combat. Movement in this game is awesome. I don't know if I can say enough about the movement, actually. And first and foremost, the grappling hook. Like, I've been in love with grappling hooks as a game mechanic since Ocarina of Time, okay? I absolutely love them. They're like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like Batman, okay? They make me feel fucking awesome. In any game I've ever played, whether that was Dying Light or Zelda or this one or Apex, I love grappling hooks. They're fast and fun and they make you feel like a superhero, and this one is no different. It's amazing. It's also a really, really crucial mechanic, I think, in the game when it comes to combat, because it serves two things: escape and closing the distance between you and your enemies. Like, sometimes you just run into someone and they kick your ass, and you have to get away so that you can repair your armor and heal up a little bit with some of those items we were talking about earlier. So the grappling hook is a very easy way to put some distance between you and that person so that you can heal up and rejoin the fight. Conversely, they're also a great way to close the distance between you and an enemy. Like I was saying earlier, the ranged weapons, sometimes people just start shooting at you and then you have to look around and figure out what the hell it came from, and the grappling hook is a way to get in close quick before they can do any damage to you and knock the shit out of them with your spear or your greatsword or whatever. And that was kind of part of the reason why I don't know if the ranged meta is going to do as well in this game, because of the grappling hook, and you can close distances so fast. You can also grapple directly onto an enemy, which is really, really cool and very handy because it gives you usually like a knockdown ability where as you're flying through the air, you can like hit shit with your weapon and beat the piss out of people, which is really fun. And then it knocks them down and you can kind of just button mash until they're dead. The grapple hook is also really, really useful in close quarters, because if you get stunned or rather, you know, you're getting your ass kicked, you can grapple hook out of the way really, really quickly, have some time to get your ult up or whatever. So again, the grapple hook is a really core mechanic to this game, and ultimately when I got into better and better lobbies as I ranked up, I saw more and more players making very frequent use of the grapple hook. And that kind of brings us into like free running and climbing. One of the coolest things about this game is how interactive the environment is. You can climb like everything. Like, everything is climbable, interactable. You can jump in and explore buildings. You can climb on the outsides of them. You can get to these really, really high vantage points and check out just like awesome shit and see the world. I love that. I love that about this game. You can like run along the walls, which is very Prince of Persia-esque to me and brings me back to those days. But I love the free running and sort of grappling mechanics. For me, it was a little bit clunky, but that's, again, I'm not sure if that's me or rather if that's the game, or if it's me because I was still getting used to, again, keyboard and mouse, and I'm very much a controller player. As far as overall combat mechanics go, these I do like. One of the things though that I was a little bit concerned about, especially in the early tiers of play, and this might have just been because I was in lobbies with a lot of new people, is it felt like I could just kind of like roll up on somebody and then button mash and kill them. Which, you know, gets a little boring. But as I got into the higher tiers of play, like I said, as I got my rank up to that bronze 5, bronze 4, I started getting into lobbies with players who were frankly a lot better than me, and then it became a lot about like blocking, parrying, choosing to use common attacks or charged attacks, and when to use my ult, and it became a lot more tactical in the decision making and a lot more difficult. So I'm not too sure on that yet. I haven't really landed on one side or the other, because in the early tiers of play, I was just button mashing on people, and then now as I'm getting into the ranked stuff, it feels like people sometimes are just kind of button mashing on me and just killing me very, very quickly. Again, maybe that's just because I'm bad, but TBD a little bit on that one. But overall, I still do like them. I still enjoy it. It was a lot of fun to like try to time out ults and parries and blocks and jumps and using the grappling hook, and I think that just comes with experience. But overall, combat mechanics were a lot of fun. And now that we've talked about like how the game kind of works, you know, how to move around the map, the way the combat works and all the various items, let's talk a little bit about like the level progression and getting skills and talents. Like I said, each champion has a unique set of skills. They have like one talent and one ult that they are able to use. And each of those talents that each of those champions has is really, really unique and really cool. And the way that the skill progression works is pretty interesting. So basically the game makes use of Tay and gold. Tay is like the in-game currency that you use to unlock glyphs. Now, the level progression system is you obviously level, and then as you go, you get certain ability or attribute points, and you get more and more Tay. And then the Tay that I think that's how you say it, I don't know, T80. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know down in the comments. I don't know. But as you level, you get more and more Tay, and then you're able to take that and use it to unlock or upgrade certain areas of skills. Some are passive, like, you know, giving you better item drops. Others are more active and give you like more rage at the start of the game, or make it so that when you get hit, your rage goes up and lets you charge up your ult quicker. There's probably gonna be a video forthcoming from me about like which ones are best, you know, getting into the meta of like which ones to progress first, etc., etc. But for now, the one that I found most important and the one that I immediately sort of maxed out quite a bit as much as I could was the grappling hook stuff, because again, it feels like such a core component of the game, and I wanted to make sure that I could get that as good as I possibly could. But the big note here is that this system was not very intuitive for me at first. It took me a little while to figure it out, because you have like one glyph, and then within that glyph are like 6 others, so you kind of upgrade. You get it goes from 1 to 6, I think, and you're able to upgrade it with Tay. Each successive upgrade costs more, so it's like 100, 200, 400, 600, or whatever, and it costs more and more Tay to get that higher and higher. And then you have like 6 tokens or glyphs that you can get to 6. And then each of those gives you like more percentage points in that skill or passive, whatever it is. Like I said, not very intuitive at first, especially because there were so many, but I eventually, I think, was able to figure it out. And this glyph system kind of reminds me of, if any of you played Final Fantasy X, like the glyph charts for each of the characters and how they could go through. In this game in particular, there is a general glyph thing that I think applies to any hero or champion that you pick. And then also with Tay, you can unlock a character specific glyph board where you can add on to their skills, probably make their ult stronger, give them more attacks with their ults, or what have you, and make them, you know, better as an individual champion. So that's kind of how like level progression and skills work. And obviously like Tay is the in-game currency. There's obviously gold, and don't get me wrong, this game definitely has microtransactions. Like, you know, you can charge a card to get gold and buy more skins and more different things, but the cool thing is that I don't think you have to pay to play necessarily. Like, you can just use quick matches and sort of grind it out and rank yourself up organically, as opposed to buying, you know, more Tay or more gold or whatever to unlock skills and get better and better. I mean, if you want to play ranked, by all means, go ahead, but you don't have to, which I really appreciate. But that's kind of everything, you guys. I mean, there's a lot to unpack with this game. I think that like overall my impressions are really, really positive. I love the graphics. I love the movement of the game and the way that you're able to interact with the world. Again, I love like the free running and the climbing and the grappling hooks. I love the champions and their skins and their abilities. They're very cool, very unique. I want to see more variety as we move forward for sure. I would love to see more champions, more abilities, and you know, and a broader array of skills for each champion. Because right now you kind of only get 2, and I would love to see like, you know, more, like anywhere from, I don't know, 3 to 5 to 6. That would be really, really fun to sort of be able to really customize your champion and make them better. But that being said, these are all things that can come with DLCs and for the updates down the line. And for now, this game has a lot to unpack, a lot to do. The illustrations and the artwork are beautiful. The world is beautiful. The movement is fluid and seems really well done. And the combat is really, really fun. Like I said, I've been playing solo for the last 2 days, had an absolute blast, and I cannot wait to jump in with my friends, get some, you know, some co-op game playing and get that victory with a couple of buddies. So those have been my overall impressions slash beginner's guide slash intro to Naraka Bladepoint. I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, please make sure to like this video for us. It helps us out tremendously here on the channel, you know, all those YouTube algorithms and stuff. So if you could drop a like on the video, let me know that you enjoyed it. There's probably going to be more to come on this game because I'm kind of obsessed. So that being said, thank you all so much for your support. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget, game it till you make it. Bye, guys.